Hi fam, I'm Kgosi-Mkhulu Manzini of the Medium. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First ever. I've been planning on creating a YouTube channel. Finally gathered the strength and the courage to actually do it, and I conquered the demons inside of my head. So yeah, so this is where ancestral wisdom meets my everyday life or your everyday life, because this is our thing, right? We are creating a community here. So this is not only about me, but it's about each and every person that's going to have an influence and input on the growth of this channel. So I get to share my spiritual journey, daily rituals, divinations, ancestral wisdoms, challenges, and wins. We are not only going to dwell on the negative part, but we are going to strive to dwell on the positive part. With every negative reaction, there has to be a positive reaction. So we have to balance it out, or else this channel is going to weigh us down if it's only going to be filled with negativity, right? So yeah, this is, if you're on a path of spiritual growth, self-discovery, and ancestral connection, please hit that subscribe button. Let's get and let's grow together, because I'm here to grow and you'll also will get to benefit from this. It's not only one-sided. So you can also connect with me via TikTok, and my TikTok handle is Kgosi-Mkhulu Manzini, the medium. Even via Instagram, still the same handle, Kgosi-Mkhulu Manzini, the medium. So this is my very first video. Like I said, it took more than 3 years, I think 3 4 years, for me to conquer the demons inside of my head, for me to finally get to do this, because it's not easy, you know. There will be criticism and a whole lot of things, but I feel like I'm ready and strong to take in the criticism, and every man for themselves, I understand. So the purpose of this video, it's to actually do a get to know me. Who is Kgosi-Mkhulu Manzini? Ne? And how did I get to have the names? I guess you guys can also hear it's two names. It's Kgosi and it's Manzini. Mkhulu is just the title or the prefix that get to explain the Kgosi that I do have, which is a male ancestor, hence Mkhulu. Kgosi is an entirely standalone name that I got from my ancestors, and that's a name that I got via a vision some while ago, years ago. I think it has been 2 or 3 years. But the first name that I got when I was ePetlweni, it was Manzini. I got that name when I got to get Ukajeka. Ukajeka is a sacred practice, a task that gets to be done, that is to evoke Idlozi that lives within you, inside of you, so that it goes with it can explain itself and say its name, introduce itself to yourself and the people that are around you. So that is a very sacred ritual. That's when I got to get the name Manzini. But it was not only one name. I actually got two names. It was two ancestors that got evoked during that period. It was Manzini and Mtunzini. There was a battle between the two ancestors, because they both wanted to be reincarnated during that process. More than anything, Mtunzini wanted to overthrow, or yeah, if I can say overthrow, I wanted to overthrow Manzini so that he could get to be the lead ancestor. Yeah, but unfortunately, Manzini fought so that in another one that gets to reincarnate. So those are my two names that I get to use, and that is how my ancestors wants me to use them. Kgosi-Mkhulu Manzini. Now it gets to be one name, not a separation. So the second question, where am I from, and how has your background influenced your spiritual journey? So I'm born and bred. I was actually born and bred in Limpopo, in a very small town or small suburb in the mining sector. under Anglo-American. That is where my dad used to work. So that's where I got to grow up. And later on, we moved from Limpopo, and then we relocated to the Northwest, which is my current home. Yeah, but I didn't get to spend so much time there because I was already old. I was over. I was in my 20s and already independent. I had my own place by then, and I was working in Pretoria. When my family relocated, I think I was working in Johannesburg, sorry, and I was living there when my family relocated to the Northwest. So, any influences with regards to my spiritual journey backgrounds? Zero. Zero. I grew up in a family where it was Christian based, and the foundation was surrounded by Christianity. Both my parents were leaders in the Methodist Church, and I just knew that my grandmother, whom lived, I'm going to use the word lived because she passed away a couple of years ago. Past couple of years ago, she used to be a Gobela and a Sangoma. So these are some of the stories that I was told by my dad, right? And um, she practiced as a Sangoma and as a Gobela throughout my dad's growth. That's the money that raised my dad amongst, as well as his siblings as well. That is what he's telling me, that he was raised by a spiritual woman. But because times were different then, it was very difficult for my grandmother to also openly practice when she was still married to my granddad, because my granddad was actually anti Sangoma or traditional healing. So because of the oppression during those times, and then she didn't get to really practice that much until my grandfather passed away. And only then after my grandfather passed away, that's when my grandmother fully focused on her spiritual journey and healing the nation basically. But apart from that, from the close relationships and family members that I do know, I am actually the first person to Twasa. There hasn't been any other person that's very close related. I'm not talking about distant cousins or relatives. We've had like one or two, and that's about it. But that was also from my maternal side. Yeah, so I didn't have much spiritual background prior to me starting with the journey. Everything was just a blur. From the moment I had dreams about my gift or me being gifted, because I started having those dreams, I think I was 11. I was in grade 5. That's when I had my very first dream, which was very traumatic because I did not understand what the dream meant. And I told my mom, and my mom gave me a total different answer, and I think it's because they had hoped that it would eventually go away on its own, because they were also gifted, and they are gifted, not also, they are gifted, but they chose not to practice or do anything about their gifts. Right. So, third question. Hey, what inspired you to start your spiritual practice? I wish that was an inspiration. I really wish. Okay, so how did I start my spiritual practice? I remember in 2015, I think, yeah, 2015, I was living in Joburg by then. I had this great need and desire inside of me to find out what my purpose was. I was working then as a personal trainer and a nutritionist. I'm a professional personal trainer and nutritionist certified, right? But I wasn't really fulfilled, like 100% fulfilled. It felt like there was a void inside of me, and there was something that was still missing. And I really wanted to find out, like, where is my purpose? And this was a question that was lingering in my head constantly. It didn't want to leave me. You understand? So I kept on asking myself that question. I remember at some point I started praying, and I wasn't so much of a prayer person because I grew up questioning everything: existence, creation, humanity. I questioned everything from a very young age, and this also led to me stop going to church because I had a lot of questions and no one could actually give me answers to that. So yeah, I asked God that question, that I need him to reveal what was my purpose. And I also remember during that time my life, yes, it was doing okay financially. I was in a very right place, but also again spiritually I was not okay because I used to be tormented by nightmares. If you're a black person, you know gore go na le ntho e bitswang tokoloshi, the little guys nyana, and they come to attack you at night while you sleep. Sometimes they just attack you broad daylight like this. So I was actually a victim of that for the longest of years, to such a point that I could not sleep peacefully, because every single time I went to sleep, Nidil, it would start attacking me every single time. So fine. Then I also started getting sick. I would also start smelling smoke from roots, like burning roots. And by that time, I used to work in Senten, Benakant Senten. Don't ask me how, but that used to happen. Cool. And then I decided to actually go consult. But just before consulting, I made a decision to move to Pretoria. And bear in mind, I hated Pretoria by then, but I did move to Pretoria. When I moved to Pretoria, months later, that's when I finally gathered the courage to go consult, because yeah, I was just not getting better. The headaches were not going away. I felt like I was schizophrenic, because I heard voices, I saw things, I experienced out of body things that I couldn't even explain by then, and another person would say I was actually crazy. So I went to consult. When I got to my consultation, they told me everything through divination. I was laughing throughout the entire time because it was spot on. It really, that was actually something that I was going through. So right then and then, that's when I made a conscious decision that I am going to Twasa without any spiritual background or anything, and that is a decision that I made. I told my parents about it. They were not much happy about it, but that's me talking to them. It wasn't a matter of me asking permission from them, because I was an adult and I've always been a black sheep. And this was just for me to say, I need your support throughout this. If I fumble or fail, then it means it had to happen exactly that way. So I started with my journey. Yeah, so this was in 2017, and I was in my late 20s when I began my journey. And I am here. This year I'm turning 8 years actually in this journey. And yeah, I have a lot to say about this journey, but good and bad things. But the good actually outweighs the bad. Fourth question: how did you first realize you had a gift as a medium? Good question. So, like I said, I used to hear things, I used to see things, I used to dream of death. I used to dream of people passing away. I used to connect with people that passed away, though I didn't understand. And over time, I grew an interest in watching mediumship series, And as I saw how they worked, I could actually resonate and relate to how they were working. And I remember after, actually, when I was in initiation, and then this is where a lot of things started coming forward. The way that I see things, the way that I hear things, that I get to see spirits in different forms, and I also get to hear them. And that is when my ancestors also got to explain that I have the ability of becoming, the ability of actually speaking and connecting with the spirit. That's how I got to find out that I'm a medium. I can't explain everything because it's going to take the entire time, but there is a short description of how I knew or realized that I'm a medium. What's one thing about you that most people don't know? Yo, and think that I'm very sensitive. I'm a very sensitive person. And I think the reason why I'm sensitive to people, I'm a sensitive person, is because I read energies, I read thoughts. It's as if There's times where everything just becomes too loud, and I can hear what people are thinking. I can sense and feel what people are feeling and going through. And this also has made it also kind of tricky for me to build relationships with people or friendships with people, because I get to hear some of the things that they are saying silently about me, or when they talk about me to other people. So yeah, it's one thing that has been very tricky in terms of building relationship. I read energy, like legit. I read energy. I do bond reading, but a lot of times I end up using that form of divination, reading energy and reading thoughts in a way. It's the weirdest thing ever, but also exciting. Yeah, uh, that I get to do. Sixth question: how would you describe your spiritual path in one sentence? You're evolving and fulfilling. That's one sentence, and I'll stick to that. Number seven, what does being a medium mean to you? Being a medium to me means I am blessed and also gifted with connecting the two worlds and being able to bring healing to those that leave, those that want to connect to their loved ones, to be able to not only relay messages, but to also heal traumas, heal wounds, generational cycles, and patterns that lineages have struggled with, because I get to tap deeper. For an example, if there is a problem that one is encountering, the spirit is encountering, or the people that are leaving are encountering, I get to tap deeper and to find out where exactly did that problem start. So basically, it's yeah, that's what it means to me. Bridging the gap between this world and the other world, so that it somewhat become one and also bearable for both parties, and to bring healing and peace. Eighth question: how do you personally connect with your ancestors? I personally connect with my ancestors through silence. I'm a loner. I can sit in silence literally the entire day until my wife comes home and she starts talking about the silence that's in the house. I sit in silence legit. That is the number one thing that I utilize, solitude, to connect with my ancestors. Two, I have personal conversations and also journaling that I do with them on a regular basis. That is also something that gets to help me out with connecting with them. Right, so that was question number 8. Question number 9, we're going to do 2 more questions, so it will be 10 questions in total. Question number 8, what is one powerful spiritual lesson you've learned? Trust my instincts, to really trust my instincts, and when my intuition kicks in, I shouldn't use my emotion to reason with it. When I'm being guided, I need to remove my personal feelings or emotions out of it, because that also causes a derail, and it can also cause you to make the wrong choices. And yeah, it kind of leads you astray. So it's basically that, to listen to my intuition, to learn how to discern as well between my own intuition and communication from my ancestors. The last question: do you have a daily ritual you never skip? A daily ritual that I never skip, it's to sit in silence. This is what I do every single morning when I wake up. I try to sit in silence and try to recuperate myself. It used to take longer before. It used to take about 3-4 hours. I would only start functioning after 12 o'clock, but now I'm trying to reduce that because it's affecting my schedule. But the ritual that I never skip is to sit in silence and to have conversation with myself, because I've learned when I have conversations with myself, that's when I have conversations with my sisters, my spiritual guides, and God. the creator. It allows me to come back to self and to also get the answers or navigation that I need in this journey. So yeah, those are 10 questions that I have asked. Please also let me know if there are any questions that you guys would like to ask me, or if it can be personal questions, it can be spiritual questions, and I'll try to answer them as truthfully as I know. Remember that everything that I answer and I say, it's based on my experience and guidance from ancestors and spirits as well. Sometimes it might happen that I don't have an answer. Yeah, and I think it's pretty fair that happens. So yeah, don't forget to click on that link, that button. Please subscribe so we grow this community. Let's have fun, let's grow, let's enjoy this journey. This journey is not supposed to be hard, it's not supposed to be difficult. Challenging, yes, it will be, but it's not supposed to be that difficult. So yeah, this is at the end of this. Please like, subscribe, and follow both TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. They are co-linked. You will get different glimpses of who I am. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.